Okay, my friends, we're going to switch gears a little bit today and we're going to talk about never give up, never surrender. Largely around senior fitness folks such as myself and a lot of my friends. And like this particular guy, and this is George Hackenschmidt in his later years, who I've covered in a couple of my books and at least one video, if not a couple. Uh, there he is in his 80s and still keeping it going on. And you see this gentleman doing a hip lift here with a pretty big dumbbell. Obviously, he's no kid. Honestly, I'm not sure who exactly this is, but you can see he's an older gentleman. There's Dave Draper with the before and after picture. And I believe he's in his 60s there in that picture on the right, and obviously still in phenomenal shape. And we'll see another picture of him down the road. Now, I did do this book 12 years ago or so, The Secrets of Age Defying Strength. And there's George Hackenschmidt on the bottom there. You can see Earl Lederman and a bunch of other strong seniors. This is Clevio Massimo holding up a little kid here. You can see he's pretty old there and old and doing a overhead press with his probably his grandson, I would imagine. There's Mr. Lalanne in his later years, and obviously he was just a phenomenon. That guy stayed strong and healthy right up to his last days, and did things that 20-year-olds couldn't do. I hear people saying, "Oh, I'm 36 or I'm 40, and I'm getting old, and I got this and that and the other." It's like, come on, man, really? Honestly, when I was in my 40s, I think I was the strongest I ever was in my life. Here's our friend Vince Anello, Vin Dog. He's 74, 75. It's still in phenomenal shape, as you can see. And we'll go into this. This is Silver Sneakers Group, and honestly, if that's where you're at and you're getting off the couch, that's fantastic. But Vince talks about that he's always getting solicited by Silver Sneakers, and he's a little bit beyond that, I believe. This gentleman is Mr. Hal Raker, and my good friend and former teammate Don Kuhn standing behind him. But I did this video a while back of him doing 18 chin ups, and again in his 80s. And he was good friends with Frank Zane. And this was actually in one of Zane's publications, which is like a before and after picture. And sorry that the quality didn't come out because it was such a small picture. I had to blow up, but he's 77 in that picture, and again, the guy trained, and he passed away a few years ago, unfortunately. And then we have this gentleman standing here with Pat Casey, and this guy was a stevedore and used to carry 100-pound sacks. And Carl Norberg is the man, and there he is. You can see he's got a big barrel chest, and had a little impromptu lifting contest with Grimmick that he almost won, and which is crazy. This is, I believe his name is Jeffrey Morris, and you could see he's doing that Superman spread with pretty serious cables there. You got one really thick one, and then another one with like 6 or 7 small strands. Fred Glass, another friend of mine that I knew from mutual acquaintances at Twin City Barbell, and there he is pulling some serious weight, and he's a pretty thin guy. Here's Josefina Monasteria, and she's in her 80s, and look at the shape that she's in. And I don't believe she started bodybuilding until she was, mature. So if you got aches and pains, so we all do. Like, deal with it. I mean, it's funny. People ask me, if I have aches and pains working out and stuff. Like, yeah, all the time. Uh, this video from Monty Python cracks me up, where He's standing there armless at that point, and he's like, "Ah, it's merely a flesh wound." I feel like that guy sometimes going into the gym, sometimes, and more often coming out of the gym. I feel like that guy. We all have our aches and pains. I have arthritis. I had a hip replacement about 10 years ago. Uh, Various torn muscles and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? You keep on keeping on. As someone we know said, stop whining, right? Um, you can make excuses all you want, but ain't gonna cut it. You can all do something. There he is. There's the man who we know said, stop whining, right? Um, and he's still working out in his 70s. Obviously, not like he used to be, but he's still doing what he can. There's George again. And he was doing squats with like 400 pounds in the 70s and 80s. There he is as a younger man. And this is like the turn of the century. So you can't make any claims about this guy doing steroids. So tired of people saying, "Oh yeah, but he did roids." So what? If I stuck to people that were all natural, there wouldn't be many people to deal with. There's Mac Batchelor, who was an old time strongman, and you can see, he's lifting up like two barrels off the floor there with a bar between them. And obviously, he's older there. One of many strongmen. And there's Bob Peoples, again, another guy that trained, you know, well into his old age. It just becomes part of your lifestyle. And Bob was one of the best deadlifters of his day, and really of any day. There he is working in his dungeon gym as a younger man, throwing some big weights overhead. And here we have Reamstown strongman Bill Good at age 72 in 1982, doing a 650-pound quarter squat on the 50th anniversary of the 32 Olympic Games, where he placed fourth as a weightlifter. Then we have Mr. Joe Greenstein, also known as the Mighty Atom, another guy that was bending nails and biting nails in half and pulling airplanes with his hair and all kinds of crazy stuff well into his old age. And there he is with John Grimmick, and you could see that John is not a kid in this picture either. And Joseph Greenstein is well up in years at that point. Now, he was a mentor to this guy who was Mr. Slim the Hammerman Farman, who I had the pleasure to meet. Um, just a really cool guy. And I remember being impressed when I shook his hand. I thought he was going to break my hand. But another guy that got strong largely around his job. He worked at a quarry. He was breaking rocks with big sledgehammers, and that's what kind of got him into the whole thing of, holding a sledgehammer with one hand. Chuck the Truck Braxton, who can forget him? Another guy that was a Masters lifting champion and just a cool guy. Worked with kids. Everybody loved him. Kind of had that Santa Claus look. Then we have Mr. Larry McCauley here, who trained at my gym at least for a while back in the day, and he was a colorful character. He had like some interesting lifting outfits that he would wear. And we have from around 2000, we had this guy George Nelson, that was a master bencher, and he did 610 at 260 at age 55. Yeah, he had I think that was a double ply shirt, but double ply shirts in 2000 weren't all that. Then we have Bob Gaynor, was another great Masters lifter that obviously made the cover of Powerlifting USA. Ed Corney, great bodybuilder, didn't get started till later in his life, and was competitive, as a mature guy without a doubt. And there he is, as a younger man. Um, and he wasn't the only bodybuilder. Albert Beckles was another guy that was stayed in just phenomenal shape well into his older days. Fred Hatfield did the 1,000 pound squat. He was over 40. Um, and then we have Ernie France, another guy that was really strong. I'm not sure how old he is here, but you can see he's pulling some serious weight there, and obviously he's well up in years. There, he is not a kid, and there he is squatting really deep, below parallel for sure. I think he's a little younger there, but that's Ernie. Had a very long career, and another guy that would say never give up, never surrender. Chuck Sipes, another guy. Here he is, older. Obviously, stayed in great shape into his older years, and another guy that was really good with kids, work with young people, and all that kind of stuff. This guy is just a phenomenon, and he's been around for a really long time too. And again, still hitting it hard, still deadlifting over 500 pounds. At he's like 75. It's just amazing what this guy does. Mr. Susko here, who made the powerlifting USA. This was a while back, but he's still out there, still lifting heavy. You can still see him on Facebook. He posts lifting videos all the time. Uh, Mr. JT Sowards here, another guy that's up there in years and still pulling some, and not just pulling, all around lifting. Strong guy. You can see he's still got quite a physique. Another friend of mine that has an online thing here, it's Old Natty. And he's over 60 and he still, works out hard on a regular basis. And he has his own YouTube channel and is one of many friends of mine. Mr. Michael Margolis is in his 80s and a performing strongman. He likes to drive nails through boards and bend nails and bend other pieces of metal and all that kind of stuff, along with Mr. Dennis Rogers. Then we have these brothers, no steroids, no TRT, both in their 60s, 65 and 66, and both doing serious weight and on a regular basis. We have this guy who's into the high intensity, but it's Drew Bay, who's he's in his 60s and in really good shape. And another guy that does not make excuses, and I follow him also. Then we have my friend Mr. Greenson here, who's 57, as he mentions here. Very competitive lifter, has a lot of world records, and he's been sober for a number of years and largely accounts that to his lifting. Then we have my friend here, Alabama Kurt, doing the deficit deadlift there with 455. And again, he posts videos on a regular basis. My friend again and former teammate, Don Coons, does squats with 300 pounds for 10 reps. Then he does deadlifts like that for 10 reps. And he's like 72 or 3. And just over 200 pounds. Does chin ups like a maniac. I can't believe what he does. Yours truly. Not doing anything phenomenal, but there I am. This was like within the last year, and doing rack pulls with 455 for some reps. And I did 470 for a state record pull like 2 years ago. Then our friend Steve Paulsonella, who now has one artificial leg and owns Iron Sport Gym in Glen Mills, I believe it is. There we have from back in the day, from the old school, the original West Side Barbell Club, George Friend. There he is squatting with a cast on his leg. Just, another guy. And Louis, this guy had more surgeries than you can shake a stick at, and he just kept at it. Here he is with a cast on his leg and bench pressing. Nothing could stop Louis. Another guy that just, like I said, didn't make excuses. These guys are not making excuses. They have um, some sort of injuries or handicap that puts them in a wheelchair, and there they are, and fantastic bodybuilders like this guy. Look at the shape he's in. I don't know how you could train, especially in, get your abs like that and everything, being in a wheelchair. So these guys are not making excuses. And it's not just bodybuilders. You have guys that are doing this kind of stuff, and you have the Paralympics, you have the Special Olympics, and I've worked with, and my club used to work. I think some of my friends still do work with Special Olympic lifters. There's a Paralympic power lifter, as you can see, bench pressing, strapped down to the bench, and not making any excuses, doing what they can. And that's really what it's all about. And you have a number of Facebook pages out there, and I am uh, a member on a number of these. Fit and Fab over 40. That's one of many. Fit Men over 60, and then there's Fit Men over 70, and um, the list goes on and on with these Facebook groups. And whatever age category you're in, and whatever condition you're in, you can find something that you can join and be a part of. Senior Muscle Fitness Forum for everyone 50 years and up. So there's representatives for every age group and so forth. Over 50s Health and Fitness, that's another one. And you can see there's like almost 200,000 members in that group. So these Facebook pages are very popular. Over 50 competitive bodybuilding, 170,000 members. So if you're a competitive bodybuilder and you're over 50, or like Josefina Monasterio, you over 80, you know there's a place for you. Here's my friend Jim Cash back in the day in the 80s. Phenomenal all around lifter, world record setting lifter. Um, and he's still at it, even though a couple of years ago, I guess it is now, he had a really bad accident and they said he might be paralyzed, might not ever be able to walk again. Well, he's not just walking again. He's, really getting back into it. He's not as far as he'd like to be along because he's a competitive guy. So keep him in your prayers. Ricky Dale Crane, and again, our friend Mr. Draper. And Ricky, unfortunately, passed away not too long ago. But another guy that was doing, crazy squats and deadlifts, right up through his old age. Here you see this older gentleman doing a one arm pull up, which is really crazy. My friend Hal was actually thinking about trying that when he did that 18 back from that video. This is Mr. Otto Arco, and he is, this is back in the days before steroids. And he is 53, I believe, in this picture, and obviously in really good shape. And again, this was pre-steroid days. Here you see this older lady power lifter, and squatting, and I don't even know how much the weight is, but who cares? If it's one plate at her age, that's awesome. Here we have Maxick, who was a big muscle control guy. He also lifted weights and did some hellious weightlifting event things too. But celebrating his 80th birthday in the one picture there. There's another older woman, as you can tell, and look at the weight she's pulling there. So age is certainly no excuse. I'm 65 myself, and I keep telling myself that. So that's about it for this video. I thank you for watching. If you like the video, please hit those like buttons. And if you have not subscribed yet, please consider doing that, and then you'll get updates when I post the new videos. So that's about it. Thanks, and I'm out.